Oh, what do you want,
Thane. It means that the Jarl and the rest of the Hold has deemed you a hero. Who am I kidding? Nowadays, a lot of successful merchants get that title for helping to fill the coffers of Jarls all around the province.
Yeah, if you insist on interrogating that out of me, I'll talk about it. Tor was only 19, but he was as Nordic as they come. Fought with a battle axe, drank a lot, but mead never made him violent. He always had his temper under control. Faldir was an older man with a wife and a teenage son. He'd been guarding the city all the way through the Great War. He said he regretted not going when he was younger, but had gotten over it. Hroki was one of the only other women in the guard. She was about a decade older than me. She was almost a mentor. Jorving was smarter than what you'd expect from someone in that profession. He was very well versed in the history of Skyrim, Morrowind, and Cyrodiil. He told me plenty of stories while we were on watch together. Oswald reminded me of my father. Grew up as a petty thief in Windhelm, but turned his life around. I don't know how he survived living on those streets in the cold. They were, and I know you would have saved them if you could have. Somewhat. Well, Thane, I wasn't that close with any of them. I've told you about my parents, haven't I? No reason not to tell you about them. Let's be on our way.
We heading out? I keep you and your belongings safe or die trying. Before you, I was responsible for guarding the Jarl's children. As much as I respect Jarl Balgruuf, his spawn are a nightmare.
Look, Irilith and 8 other guards were out there. I knew all of them, including the ones who didn't make it back. Hroki, Tor, Faldir, Jorving, and Oswald. I had known them for years. Now, out of nowhere, some drifter shows up and helps fight a battle that cost us half the soldiers there. I look at the other people in the Jarl's court. Hrongar is a good fighter, but downright stupid. If you haven't met Nazim yet, you'll know what the problem with him is the moment you do. And I'm sure the Greymanes and Battleborns have already asked that you preoccupy yourself with their inane feud. I find it hard to believe that out of nowhere, we're finally getting a respectable member of the Whiterun court. Especially after they came back from a battle that killed 5 of my friends.
I suppose you look formidable, but looks don't count for much. Prowess in battle isn't always correlated with virtue. So, are we off to High Hrothgar now then? We could either go through the path near Falkreath, or travel around the throat of the world. Me too. And going with you is my job, so... I'm right behind you. Of the companions, huh? Don't take that lightly, Thane. It's a great honor.
Whoa, you kind of blacked out there for a bit. A weird light also started glowing from the star. What happened? Are you alright? Good. Sometimes, when your soul separates from your body, albeit temporarily, weird stuff can happen. Wanted to be sure you truly came back from that star thing in one piece. So, how did it feel like? Not every day you get to fly into a soul gem and come back out of it. Huh. Now that is interesting. Typically, the items in the physical world are completely separate from other realms, unless your physical body travels to that new realm. Kind of like the soul cairn. It wasn't just your soul that went in there. So, it seems like Azura's star is somehow able to record reality and create duplicates. Or manifestations, in a sense, in its own realm. Might be good for me to research some more on my own time. The implications could be astounding.
Hey, I'm glad you're here with me.
Yeah, whatever. Barbas wasn't even a real dog. You just saved a Daedra. Many scholars even think he and Vile are two halves of the same being. So, congrats, I guess? You saved the good half, and now you have a bizarre stone mask, too. Watch out. I wouldn't want you to turn into a werewolf like that other guy's daughter. Yes, I've heard that some masks can even turn humans, mer, and beast folk into vampires. I wouldn't say no to you going through that, though. I reject my humanity, Serana. I'm just kidding. Please don't do anything like that.
Interesting fellow. I didn't know there were any people in Skyrim who still preferred the old gods.
So, what do you want to talk about?
I'm still concerned about your
Gravity. It truly is a peculiar thing. This law of the earth bones, or so I've read, dictates how land and people are held in place, and how what comes up must come down. It's generally a simple fact of our reality, but it is nonetheless perplexing to think about. But let's just put that aside for now. There's this other thing that I've been thinking about. Symbolic gravity. I think it is that, in which a sense, weighs us down. It prevents us from truly ascending to our true potential. When mortals, vampires, or any sentient being in Nirn tries to scramble and fight for dominance, power, influence, it really is just vanity in the end. Don't you think? If only we understood one another, and not be consumed by these petty squabbles, we could truly ascend into something else. Maybe even Chim. Who knows?
What's the plan?
But I'm tired, Sovrina. Can't you just sell these things?
Be careful out there. I've grown rather fond of our chats. Every step we... I've been meaning to ask, why did you join the Dawn Guard?
Hi, Ismir. I have to say, this crossbow is an amazing device.
That certainly was true.
Thank you.
And there were some dragons by that ice lake.
You know, I was thinking it was solitude that got me into conjuration, really. A skeleton doesn't sound like great company, but, well, I felt very lonely. But hey, not anymore. Thanks to you.
The castle off the coast? That's where your vampire lady friend grew up, right?
Thane. Yeah, but you know what? I think you've heard me talk about myself more than enough. Maybe it's time I learned about you. Where are you from, anyway? I figured as much. Damn it, Thane. Fine. You want me to keep talking about the guards who died? Well, like I said, I wasn't that close with them. I lived in that city for 10 years, 4 as a guard and 6 as a housecarl. I didn't really get close to anyone in that time. I'm not great with people. To a degree, yes. And to tell you the truth, I did actually blame you for the loss. At least partially. I know it wasn't your fault, though. Still here.
Do you need something?
Not that often, really. Being a daughter of Cold Harbor, I can go without blood longer than other vampires. That, and I can also rest to regain my energy. It doesn't fully satiate the appetite, but it staves off hunger for a while. So, don't worry. I won't go feral on you or anything just because I haven't had a daily meal. I also read stories. There was supposedly a vampire in Akavir which never fed in her entire life? Or whatever you call it. Supposedly, she even protected mortals from her own kind. Yeah, actually. So, where are we off to now?
I've never been here before, until I met you at least. I've read stories about the Solitude Windmill, but I didn't expect it to be that big. From the castle, you used to just see a bit of solitude from over the mountains. It's a different thing entirely to be here yourself. Everything's just so majestic. I hope it all lasts.
An interesting fellow. I didn't know there were any people in Skyrim who still preferred the old gods.
So, what's on your mind? I was just thinking about some alchemical principles. Comprehension, destruction, and reconstruction. You first need to understand the structure of what you're trying to transmute. Like what wheat is made out of, and how those properties fit into making a health potion. Then there's deconstruction. You break down the wheat into a more malleable state along with the other ingredients. Finally, there's reconstruction. You use the energy and materials created from the deconstruction to make what you're trying to make, like the health potion.
Oh? What is it?
Plenty of Thalmor patrols come through this part of Skyrim. We should be careful.
If you run into any trolls, just remember they're more scared of you than you are of them. Well, probably.
Hey, I'm glad you're here with me.
Me too.